Man, when you really look at the whole aspect of the Emperor's children, it's just you start to see that every children has the stereotypical like trope to them, right? Now I have no idea the actual lineage, but bear with me. Follow along. Believe and dream with me. So we got Tyrone, the older sister that's, starting to realize how hot she is, And then you have the Purina, the younger sister who's annoying as hell. Then you have Haspel, the older brother. This guy's like in his 20s, starting to get that really good job and the respect from his peers. Then we have Tarkus, the middle brother, who is just insane crazy, likes to play a lot of sports, just all over the place, and just a guy skateboard, extreme biking, snowboarding. That's Tarkus. Then you have Aurora, who's the smart, eloquent sister. She's the middle sister, right? Only thing that she doesn't have is the glasses to push forward every couple seconds, the little glasses push. And then we have Adrian. Cold calculation. This guy, see, now he is the evolution of anime. This guy is the character in which he doesn't have the glasses because he's smooth, but he's smart at the same time. This guy is the evolution of the main character. This guy has main character drip oozing out of, like, he has two swords. That is main character, main villain status. What's going on, guys? It is your boy Cash, and today I know you guys have been waiting on this lovely guide. We have Adrian, and he's probably going to be one of the only characters that I refuse to show in the codex as far as like his skills and stuff like that. This guy is really cool. He is a tank, and he is right. Him and Amon are just like, yo, let's completely destroy what a tank meta is and what people see as tanks. First of all, they're not heavily armored, they're not big, they're not fat. They're based on some way of mitigating damage. And Adrian and Amon are what I like to call, what I've always heard in other MMOs, they're like an invasion tank. So they are tanks, but they have ways of mitigating damage, not just by defense increase or something like that. Just period out, I'm not going to take damage, or I'm going to take a very small amount of it. First, before I go into the skills, what I would like to do is actually go through the outfit. So as I said, this man is dripping. He is dripping, okay? If you guys don't know what that means he is giving off, or he is exuding, like, what is it? When the gas or the fumes are coming off, he is dripping. He just oozes swag. I mean, like, I don't know what other way to say it. I know it's an old term, but he just, look at that. Look at the way he's dressed. And then he even gets you see what the man does? Do you see this? Do you see how cool this guy looks? Like, if he, and then he gets the cape. Not even a cape, because the cape would be too obvious. He just gets little, like, fake little wings here, little sprouting out. Even the horns get decorated. You see this? He actually decorates the horns. But look at that. His detail's actually kind of crazy. Like, this is like a character you would see in Final Fantasy 14. Like, it's like you really would see him in Final Fantasy 14 in the MMO. It's crazy. Let's go into the lovely skills. Let's see what the skills are all about. First off, leader skill is going to be Spirit Sword, increases dark and wind allies attack by 50%. As I mentioned before when I first read his skills, I think that is the highest leader skill that is dual element. And tanks are really good leaders, because if you guys don't know, I've said this before, when your leader dies, the leader skill goes away. It's not always good to have a squishy leader, because if they get sniped, then you lose the leader passive. So having a tank as the leader that's also giving attack or giving multi-strike or counter or whatever is really good. That's why Ashley's a good leader, because it's hard to kill him because of his counter shenanigans. So yes, I do like him as a leader as well. I always like to mention that in my guides if the character is a good leader, and he is one of them. Next up, his first passive is going to be Sword of Protection. 100% chance to apply Spirit Shackles to 3 non-defense type enemies for 6 turns at the start of the battle. Decreases the caster's damage taken by 50% and has a 50% chance to ignore damage taken if the caster has Sword of Protection. Now, I definitely misread this when I did the reveal video of him. So first of all, Spirit Shackles, now we can actually see what it is. It is an abnormal status. It is a debuff. It cannot be removed, however. Buff effects are not applied unless the buff effect cannot be removed. They changed that for people like Kane that have buffs that can't be removed. It's a really weird texting. So pretty much this is a melancholy, as that was explained to me, and now as I read it, it makes more sense. So he's going to give out 3 melancholies to non-defense types. And on top of that, as long as he has Sword of Protection, which we will actually see, I think it's in the S2 and the S1, we'll see a little bit of it. When he has that, he'll take 50% less damage in general. That just happens, and has a 50% chance to ignore damage taken if he has the Sword of Protection. But this guy, even if he's stunned, he's still, that 50% chance can still proc in his favor, and he will not take any damage. It will say all damage immunity. Yes, he can still be, you know, locked up with CC, but at the end of the day, it's still a 50-50 shot if he's gonna take the damage or not. And if he does take the damage, he's also reducing it by 50% anyway. It takes a long time for him to die, as long as his Sword of Protection is up. Next up is his 60 passive, which is the calculated strategy. Becomes immune to damage over time, which is okay. I mean, if any character I would prefer to get the immunity to weaken, it would have been him instead of Aurora. I would switch them over, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. 50% chance to apply Spirit Shackles for 6 turns when attacking. So every time he attacks, he can put Spirit Shackles on random enemies. Awesome. Increases allies damage dealt by 40% if the caster has Sword of Protection, very similar to Aemon. So that's really strong. You definitely want to keep that Sword of Protection up as long as possible. So let's see how that is done. First off is the S1, the Dancing Sword. Inflicts damage in a cone, 35% chance to taunt for 1 turn, 30% chance to cast Sword of Protection for 1 turn if you do not have it. If the caster has Sword of Protection, increases the duration of Sword of Protection by 1 turn. So this is a way to extend your Sword of Protection or get it first. As you can see here, we can boop, 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 and then boop. Nothing really changes here. So upgrading this is pretty much for the increased taunt, 55% chance here to taunt. For 1 turn, the taunt duration doesn't go up by 2. The reason being is because of the Sword Protection passive. Most of the time when characters have a cone, usually it becomes 2 turns to taunt, but since he has the Sword of Protection thing, I feel like they didn't want to really do that. That would have been a little bit too much. Now it still has 50% chance to cast the Sword of Protection. If the caster has Sword of Protection, increases the duration of Sword of Protection by 1 turn. Here is the Sword of Protection. When you see this buff, these 2 swords right there, then you know that you have Sword of Protection. It is considered a buff and it cannot be removed. Next up is going to be the S2, Pack of Protection. 100% chance to cast Sword of Protection. So if you want it immediately, just S2. Inflicts damage equal to 80% of attack to all enemies, and then a 70% chance to taunt all the enemies as well. And as we can see here, at level 3, it already becomes 100% chance to taunt, which is really good. Now, nothing else really is going to be really noteworthy here, except when you finally get to level 6, it will then become a 2-turn taunt, 100% chance to act. Now that's really good, but damn, the S1 is really good as well. So it's going to be a little bit hard for you to choose between the S1 and S2. Since the Sword of Protection, in my opinion, is more important, I would actually still at this point be leveling up the S1 first and then come back for the S2. Or you could at least get this to level 3 so it always taunts. That's another good idea. And then go back to the S1 and then just make it a little bit, you know, balance it out. Kind of hard decision there. Usually I like to just finish one thing out completely, but maybe just go for the level 3 here and then go back to the S1, finish it out. Because if you can keep that Sword of Protection up, I mean, the benefits are crazy. You know, taking less damage, chance to take no damage. All your allies are getting more damage. Keeping it up is more important than, to me, just taunting. Last but not least, the Spirit Slice. Inflicts penetration damage to 1 target, 70% chance to reveal weakness, also another 70% chance to cast Unable to Revive on the target and to adjacent enemies. Now keep this in mind that the damage is to 1 person, but the Unable to Revive is in a cone. At level 3, it's 100% chance to land the weakness reveal, which is really good for a tank to throw that out. They have the weakness reveal for 1 turn, and then your teammates can follow up on that. You just gotta look at who's going after, because you don't want to reveal weakness and then that enemy goes before one of your allies goes, and then it's kind of a waste. At level 6, it actually becomes a 2-turn, 90% chance to do the Revive Unavailable. Even though this is some pretty good stuff here, obviously I'm still gonna go with the S2 and the S1. They're just really good to what his kit and what he's supposed to be doing. If you want to go S2 to level 3, I say, hey, that's a fine idea. Me personally, I'll be leveling up the S1 fully and then I'll be coming for the S2. Just because I'm going to be suggesting, spoiler alert, multi-strike counter striking all day with this guy, so he'll have a chance to taunt. He also taunts and hits in a cone. This is a banner character, ladies and gentlemen. It's not an advent character, so this is going to take you a while to get up. So that's why it's kind of like, I don't want to go a little bit here then jump back to here. I'd rather just finish this out and then slowly work on the S2 effectiveness. So let's look into those base stats, shall we? Alright, so now we are here with the base stats, and we haven't done a SSR defender in a while, so hey, let's get back into the basics. If you guys don't know, I'll always have to tell you, all SSRs of a certain role have the same exact base stats outside of the attack speed. There's so many of you that are like, oh my god, again. So here it is. These are his base stats. I'll show it to you right now on the left side of the screen without the little mumbo jumbo math here. So base stats for an SSR defender is going to be 10,501 HP, 2,624 for defense, 2,227 for attack, and his own individual attack speed is going to be 536. So that's obviously pretty good. Actually, kind of weird that his speed's like decent. His speed's like somewhat decent for a tank. The HP is pretty much up there. The defense is pretty much up there. This was the same issue that I had with aiming with characters that can literally not take damage, have the same defensive stats and HP as a character like Electra, who is meant to take damage. And I always felt that they should like change that a little bit. Let's go over to the loveliness that are the runes. So what would I put on this guy? I think we already kind of talked about it. Resolve is a slightly cheeky, but it will actually give him a resolve. He does not have a resolve, so allowing him to stay alive after taking too much damage, making him a little bit more annoying. And then with his damage, all damage immunity, can make him a really pesky fighter. Honestly, this is pretty much where I think your 4 sets will really want to start. Continuity is going to give you 30% multi-strike right off the bat. It's a 4-piece set. I think it's literally the best one that you can go for. All of his skills are attacks. So with that being said, every time you attack, you definitely have a chance to multi-strike, so you might as well try to do so. And with your skill 1, it will possibly extend a sword of protection or give you one if you do not have it, and you definitely need to keep them up as much as possible. Revenge is a really good 2 set as well. Also the life, if you don't have a good, and this is where it comes down to the substats, guys. The substats are super important. Now when I'm telling you to go multi-strike, counterattack, and HP, I'm telling you to look at the substats. All HP recovery, no one really ever wants that. You know, if you want something to heal, just put a healer in your team comp. It's probably going to give you more HP than that. But you want to make sure that your multi-strike is really, really good. It's pretty high up there. Your counterattack is pretty up there. And of course your HP. You need to survive DPS when it comes to you. You're a tank. So if you don't survive it, then you're pretty much useless. And you gotta remember, people are coming at you with ignore defense. That's another reason why a lot of people don't like defense to go for. So here are the hero talents, and I haven't done any of them, so it's gonna be really easy to go through each one. So for 50, fortified armor is actually really good here. 20% increased defense. Pretty solid. 52, I've seen people do this, the reflection. You do use your S2 a lot, and then it gives you a reflect, so regardless of the damage that you're mitigating, you will hit them back for some of their damage. I think that's a really good option, but of course you can always go with PvP, PvE swag. But if you want to try something a little bit more interesting, try the reflection, try out Thornmill. 54, gonna be going with suppression. Increasing his attack is kind of like, it's not really that important. So here, every time you S1, you have a chance to lower their attack a little bit, which is, you know, obviously really good. 56, most people go with comrades and arms. The reason being is because when you get hit, it puts a protection on the ally with the lowest HP. So as you're taking all this damage, all this taunting, as we've been talking about, you start putting protections out to the character with the lowest HP. Then if they try to target that character, then they'll attack you, and the cycle continues. Now, here we go. This one's usually pretty interesting. Now, damage immunity, most people go with the Supreme Shield. 10% chance when you get attacked that you'll get a damage immunity. But you also have counterattack here, 15% of it actually. So right now, as you guys know, just with a purple star in the character, you're gonna have 15% counterattack. Then you do this one, and you'll end up at 30% counterattack, pretty much for nothing, just saying. So that's pretty good. So, I mean, I'm definitely not going Planet Attack, but then every once in a while, 10% chance is relatively low, but you get a damage immunity. A lot of people do like to go with this, but I'm going to go with offense is the best defense here. And then last but not least, 60 is duh. All right, now it is time to showcase the skills. I'm going to showcase the skills, and then I'm going to showcase the issue. So first off, we're going to start off with the S1. As you guys know, he hits like boom, boom, boom. Really smooth animation here. And as you can see, there goes the all damage immunity proc right there because I had Sword of Protection. But remember that your Sword of Protection is only one turn. So you're going to have it. So it's not end all be all. So this is one of the reasons why I was saying that you really need to make sure that your Sword of Protection, your S1 is up and leveled. If you're going to level anything, that one, because you need to keep it up. The S2 doesn't keep it up. It just places it over. Let's look at that. Really cool. Like a aura comes off of his body and hits back. Really cool. There we go, another 50 cent. It's a coin flip, ladies and gentlemen. Coin flip. As you can see here, S1, and I lost it. So now I am taking full damage. I have no chance to mitigate the damage fully. That is why, in my opinion, you want to level the S1. It only goes with the 50% chance to extend it. And as you can see, what I was speaking about before is that I had the Sword of Protection and it didn't automatically extend itself. So that proves that the 30% chance here is the same for the increased duration. So again, you really want that as high as possible. So boom, I didn't get it there. It did not trigger. So now I'm just sitting around here without my protection, my lovely Sword of Protection. And let's check out that S3 because I like to officially kill the boss with it because it just looks cool. Animation is clean. Smells the nice fall air coming on. The little I don't know who thought about that, but that was really cool. They like the little freeze framing. Great camera work on that move. Now let's see what happens when you're going against what you're probably going to be going against. All right, I finally got it. So this actually is the same stage, but it's on the hard mode, right? Sword of Protection is on me, as you guys can see, and I got frozen. This is the thing where I actually didn't mention it. If you're going to use him primarily in arena, you're probably going to want to start off with that rune set that blocks abnormal statuses, because he does not start off with Sword of Protection in the beginning of the fight. All damage immunity, as you can see, and I took 158, and you'll see in a second because I'm about to lose my Sword of Protection, right? So now I'm taking 300, so you see it was mitigating the damage pretty good. But as you get frozen here, as I get frozen, boom, I got frozen right there, is that I can't really do much of anything. I'm going to take full damage, 338. I keep getting chain locked. This is actually why I go in, if you guys ever want to know, that's why I go in easy mode, because I've found that I was like, this is annoying as hell. But he'll just get stun locked out or CC'd, or all the little bad stuff is going in. So make sure that you put a character in there that can prevent this from happening to him, so he can actually do his job. There's a lot of characters that stun nowadays and put a lot of debuffs. He can't do anything about that. The difference between him and Amon is that Amon has evasion built into his kit. There are just chances that he'll just dodge. You know, he'll just not take a damage. He won't have to get frozen. But this guy is susceptible to that. So you're going to want to have some cleanses on deck. You're going to want to have characters that can get him out. And the last thing that I want to show, you can actually see it right here. So when he actually has Sword of Protection on, he assumes this stance. You can only really see it like here. Almost makes it seem like they're making steps towards, maybe possibly, I hope, to actually having characters with different changes and stances. This is the first time I've actually noticed this. Usually it's an aura, like they stand the same, but there's like an aura or something like that. So I'm just gonna S3 to get rid of it, right? So now you can see he's standing completely still. He's not in a pose or anything like that. Like Tarkus, you know, he has a craze mode, but he stands exactly the same when he's crazy. He's not like moving around or looking different. That would have been a really nice touch. So I'm happy that they're stepping up their animations as far as, you know, making the characters look even more unique when they're in certain modes, because this game is really about modes and passives and stuff like that. So I'm really happy that they're making that step in that direction. I'm also very happy that you guys have stuck through this video, because I don't know how long it's going to take me to edit this down. It's going to come up after tonight. It's actually 10 a.m. right now, but I'll have to edit this and put it up when I get home after work. So it's going to come out a little bit later in the night. Hope you guys forgive me for that. I've been trying to, you know, balance everything properly, but you know, it's been a pleasure. This guy's awesome. If you guys haven't summoned for him, I think you'll regret it, just because how cool he is. Forget how useful he might be. you know, he's just cool as hell. But one last thing that I gotta tell you guys before I get out of here is that every day at the Kashino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.